This is Dabu7. Here on this world stage, we have China cutting off these imports of coal, iron, seafood, iron ore, lead ore. Everything coming out of North Korea in terms of those things, they are stopping as of today. And they're looking to cut off some $1 billion in revenue through these avenues to North Korea. Now, here on this world stage, where things are never what they seem, some of you may recall that just last week, Reuters, MSNBC, all these outlets were reporting saying that the U.S. flew B-1 bombers over the Korean Peninsula, right? Many of you may recall hearing that. Now they're coming out today saying it never happened. It's just like a month or so ago when they said that this massive fleet of warships was heading up to the coast of North Korea, into the region. The Stetson, all these other boats, remember that? And then the very next day they say, oh no, it's way down here off the waters of somewhere else. It was a lie, a perpetuated lie by your mainstream media. They did this to you multiple times and they're continuing to do this to you. So yeah, the whole story you took in about B-1 bombers flying over the Korean Peninsula, now they're saying it wasn't true. So you have to ask yourself, what is and what is not true that is coming out and being spewed from the establishment-controlled mainstream media? Okay, now they're saying that China has stopped all these exports. They're clamping down, but look at this. On the other side of the coin, we have a Chinese-Korean businessman saying, all right, while you guys are looking at the right hand, the left hand is steady at work. Are you paying attention here on this world stage? So the number one export was coal. They cut that off. But guess what the number two export was? Textiles. And they are not cut off. And they have exploded. Exploded. So while no one's paying attention, the second biggest thing that brings them in money has exploded, and there is no ban on this. Now check this out. So China's concerned about banning all these things coming out. Well, not too much so, because they have filled North Korea with factories. Have all these people in there stitching together clothes, shirts, pants that get shipped across the globe, all that say made in China. But guess what, folks? They were made in North Korea. Yup. And it's exploding. So they're allowing this to happen. They're in there. They're taking advantage of this. It's cheap labor, they say. Imagine that. Coming from the Chinese. People complained for years, oh, Michael Jordan, all these other people had their shoes made in China and slave labor. What do you think they're doing over here? Cheap labor is what they want to call it. If you're going to say slave labor exists in China and they're going for an even easier route in North Korea, what do you think's happening here? This is their means of survival, and they have adapted rather quickly, I will say that. And I feel for all the people of the globe. But it's time that the people wake up. Their propaganda is a monster. It's hard to contend with someone's mind that has been brainwashed all their lives with certain ideas, ideologies. This is where they run you against one another. This is where they stay in control here on this world stage. Nothing against the Korean people. Nothing against the people of China, Russia, Brazil, Argentina, Mexico, all across the globe. Together, we are an unstoppable force. That is why they work so hard to divide you. And in my opinion, you're not truly awake until the day you see that. Until the day that you see that on this world stage, these leaders have sold you out of every color, of every religion. And it's because they believe they are the offspring of the fallen ones. Turn a cheek, laugh it off, go back to sleep. Until you see it for what it is, you keep on feeding into the theater and the theaters of war. That's why they call them that. here on this world stage that they play out to divide you. Because once you realize that you're Mexicans and you're Russians and all your people, Africans, all of them come together, you win. This world is yours. Instead, in each country, you let a little of your own kind that sold you out control you and play it all out on the world stage that we're on the verge of World War III. And they get away with this because it makes it look like in the minds of the masses that your masters, your presidents, are not evil dictators, that they're not slaughterers, culling millions of their own people. No, because people would flee and try to go to another country. But if you play it to where you and the enemy are really not the enemy on the top, your best buds, and you're running your people against one another, well, then they're constantly fighting. They're constantly at each other's necks, and they never see the true picture that the dudes up top are in on this behind the scene. Once you see that, you are awakened. Let the curtain fall. Don't be afraid. This is Dabu 7, and remember, we are in this together. It's in my firm belief, whenever they usher in with North Korea in terms of war, is part of a staged event. Don't you forget it. If anything happens in this country, America, you better not forget what JFK said, what he warned you about, because the same ones that do it will be the same ones that murdered him. This is Illuminati.